All right, this is the release team meeting for April 12th. We follow the CNCF Kubernetes code of conduct, so be nice to everybody, raise your hands, all that good stuff. So yeah, I don't have a ton for this meeting today. I think we're kind of in between a little bit of a slow week with the schedule. I'll bring that up in a second. But the one thing that I did want to bring up is Kubernetes 127. I want to say it's the RC came out yesterday. And I think the actual, or it's either last week and then the real ones this week and the real or the real ones next week. I can't recall, but anyway, the work to start the 127 support is being worked on by the release team. So I think that's all right now from the release team. Oh, yep, forgot. Thanks.
Hey, folks. Can you hear me?
Yep.
So just one small correction. If I got it right, the 127 is already out for Kubernetes.
Yeah. Yep. Thank you, Christian. All right. CI team.
Yeah, so I went through this one and there was already a message in the channel, but we're going to do a bit of a hacking session tomorrow, introduce some of the tools really that we use to look at the CI, try to replicate issues, try to debug them. We're going to do that 1 to 2 in UTC. We may or may not use this Zoom. I suppose we will. I think we're in, yeah, this is the high traffic hour. Tomorrow midday should be fine. But 1 p.m. UTC, I guess, is probably suits people in EU over to like India time zones, probably doesn't suit US time zones. We'll try to vary those as we go along so that different people will be able to join. But yeah, this will be the first one. Please join if you can spare the time and you've any interest in it. And yeah, I'll put a message in the channel tomorrow when we're starting or 15 minutes before.
And will this be recorded so we can share it with the people who can't make it?
Yeah, I think we can record it. I'll ask on the meeting tomorrow, make sure that people are comfortable with that.
Perfect. Yeah, I'd love to be able to join. I just don't know what the time difference is. Cool. Yeah, you got your hand up. Sorry.
Yeah, so I was watching this test grid for this week and nothing is failing, but a lot of flakiness is there in the test grid for the test cases.
So we're seeing a lot of test flakiness on tests that aren't usually flaky, or are these tests that are typically flaky?
For like previous release, these like I think the flakiness has like increased a little bit because like from the beginning of 1.4, like all the main test cases are like flaky. Not, I haven't seen green much often, but mostly that purple color is there every time.
We have the ability to cut a flaky test issue. Is that something we should cut to have somebody look at this? I guess
so.
Yeah,
I think a number of the flakes that we have are covered in flaky test issues. Though I cut issues last week for the ones that were specific so that people will be able to debug them and track them down. We definitely have a number of flaky issues that are much more difficult to track down because the tests are failing very early. So no controlled playing machines are coming up in certain cases. Seems to happen a lot of time in the upgrade tests, which is not necessarily because of a different design of those tests, so much as those tests create more clusters and more controlled plane machines. But yeah, so those are more difficult to track down, and I don't know if there's much use in trying to get at the flakiness of those, but there are flakiness issues. If people do want to help debug, they're up there. I know Christian is actively working on one right now. 2 maybe, because I think you reopened one. But yeah, so there are flaky issues for some of them, but please, if you do see, we'll be going through some of that tomorrow, I think, just in terms of how to triage flaky issues.
Yeah, let's try to make sure that we have the kind flake label on that issues. I think we have. I think Killian did at least add that one to the ones I know. So yeah, can find some kind of overview there. We fixed one last week. At least just for some test cases. I reopened that one because in a different test case, the same issue did pop up, but I wasn't yet able to reproduce it locally. But yeah, I'm currently at 2 issues. Yeah, trying to reproduce them. Yeah.
Do you feel that this would impede like a release if we had to cut something today? I know we don't, but just if things pop up, are these blocking flakes or are they just flaky flakes?
The ones I'm aware of are not new ones, so I don't see them as blocking. Don't know, Killian, do you have other opinions about that?
Yeah, the situation hasn't changed in my view from like before 1.4.0, certainly. It did get a bit better. There are certain flakes that we fixed in between. So our unit tests are much greener. Our unit tests were quite flaky around the 1.4 release. But as Andrew said, that it is really flaky. And it is so flaky with so many different types of errors that I'm really not happy with the state of the CI right now. There were a lot of changes that went into the 1.4 cycle. We really need to harden it. Some of the flakes are like known flakes. So one is cert manager failing. There's a GitHub rate limit issue. I've signed that. I must get out of PR this week to just vendor that YAML. So that's like unrelated to CAPI. But the things about control plane machines not coming up, it's just not clear if that's CAPI is actually flaky and bad at bringing up control planes now in a way that it didn't used to be. Or something like Prow isn't working in the way we want it to be. And that could be down to a configuration issue that we have or issues on Prow itself. Or something like I do have a PR out to replace the CNI we use. We use KindNet, which we've had issues with before. And yeah, I was going to see if we could replace that with Calico for one or some of the jobs. But anyway, I think overall thing is we should not, as a CI team, as a release team, we should not be happy. But nothing is failing in a way where if there's an important reason for the release, and I think scheduled releases are important enough that we should block a release with the state of it right now. Because we haven't blocked the last 3 or 4 releases where we've been roughly in this state. Okay. But yeah, and it does, one of the problems is because some of the flakes are certainly performance related. So certainly the GitHub rate limit is because it's a rate limit. So it's overall what's come from the Prow cluster. There is a time of day impact here. It depends on when the tests were run and their jobs run at different frequencies. So that also impacts the time of day effect you get from looking at the dashboard.
Okay. So I'm sorry if I'm putting words in your mouth. So basically, if we needed to cut a release today, you're kind of thinking it would kind of block or impede the release.
No, I don't think.
Okay.
I don't think it would. I think if we've got a good reason for a release, but we shouldn't be happy at the same time. So this was certainly the case a week ago when we cut a release, but that release fixed some critical bugs that we knew were there. So I think it was worth cutting. But if we're in this case, let's say towards the end of June, when we're getting into 1.5.0 betas, if main and the 1.5 branch are flaking in this way, we'll really need to bring it up with the community. Okay. Now, hopefully we'll have fixed a lot of the problems by then, but yeah. And that is my opinion. I'd like to hear anybody else's, particularly people who might have previous exposure to PROW and might be experts in fixing issues, maybe, anybody. But yeah, be very open to opinions on what people think about the current flakiness.
Okay, yep, cool. Sorry, I misheard a little bit. So basically by 1.5, if we're still seeing a lot of flakiness, we need to bring it up. It's not blocking, but it's scary.
Say 1.5 beta.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Cool. Nope, that's good. Do we have on the maintainers team any PROW experts, or is this something we should go and try to ask around in the community?
So I have kind of an action plan. So Stefan is the one who I think has run PROW locally. I'm not sure, Christian, have you done that before?
Yeah, some time ago.
Okay. But I think number one is kind of low-hanging fruit. These are jobs that we know are flaky for reasons that we know about. Clean those up. So those are the ones that we have time flake issues on already, I think. And then we move into really trying to in-depth analyze what's left, and come up with ways to at least bisect the problem so we can understand if they are more performance related, which it doesn't rule out that it's a CAPI problem, but if they're flaky for performance reasons or contention reasons, that's a different thing than if they're flaky because CAPI's code itself is flaky.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to comment on your last statement. I always thought that it's like CAPI related or like CAPI code related flakes from my previous experience. I'm not sure like what needs to be checked with PROW. Do you think like the flakes are really PROW related and not the CAPI code related? And by the way, I have also some experience setting up a PROW cluster and so on. I can also help.
Yeah, so when I say PROW related, I kind of think, I always get the feeling that there are contention issues on the PROW cluster. So at peak times, which let's say is 5-ish PM my time, but like morning time, US towards mid-morning, jobs tend to fail more often. So there's things like that. I don't mean that there's like major bugs in PROW, but there's basically a few different sources of flakiness, and only some of them are in CAPI prod code. And other sources, obviously, our own end-to-end test code. And another source is the testing infrastructure. And I think we need to take an approach where we try and figure out what's the most likely source, because testing infrastructure is very difficult to reproduce locally. Whereas if there is flakiness in the CAPI code, that's the absolute easiest thing to reproduce.
Yeah, but also not always easy.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, that all makes sense. Thank you for explaining all that.
Just to summarize, I think we will take a look at it tomorrow then a bit. So
Awesome. Cool. Yep. I will try to be there as well, because I want to learn this stuff. I don't know much about PROW at all. I know it exists.
Sorry, by the way, I remember like PROW people, or at least upstream Kubernetes people, were trying to set up additional PROW cluster because it was overloaded, I think, the one that they were using. And the new one was on EKS. So maybe we could also reach to them. I'm sure that like it's like community-based cluster, so CAPI uses that. But in general, the PROW is like, it has flakes even upstream. Like sometimes I don't know how it affects PROW. Sometimes it's very flaky. But yeah, we can reach out and see what we can do there.
Next on the list is we need to update this list. Yes, I thought
That's on me. Yeah. Yeah, as you see, whenever you tag now the release team, these people will get a notification, and we have to update the list, but I'm not sure who has the right access.
Okay. I thought that was a PR that landed in the kubesig, but I don't know if
Could
sorry.
be Kubernetes/org, maybe.
Oh, it could be in the /org.
Is it that top PR there?
Oh, it hasn't landed yet. Oh my goodness. All right, that's on me. Nope. That's adding me to the org. Sorry. Nope, not assigned. Update the user group release team, right?
Yep.
This was updating this list. I don't know why that wouldn't have removed them. Yeah, let me dig into what happened there. I would have assumed.
But that looks the Slack. No,
Yeah,
the one that the PR that you're showing is just the Slack handles.
yep, you're right.
Yep.
So let me take
But
this.
the list that we have, I always thought like we have to do it manually. I didn't know that it's.
Oh,
I think I linked the correct location where we need to file a PR.
let's throw that in. Is it the first one?
I mean, it's both. The first one is just a commit. The second one is directly.
Oh yeah. I think
Okay.
actually I did update this. I forgot.
Okay.
Do you want to take care of that?
Yes, let me go ahead and take care of that. PR. Okay. Yep. So I can go ahead and take care of that right after this, and then get that updated. Thank you for calling that out. Ah, perfect. Thank you, Christian. And then lastly, wrong one, the issue. Ah, shoot, this thing is right in my way. Get out of here. Let me close out. Is it that issue for, yep. So somebody wrote opinions on this. Yep, sorry, Nawaz.
Yeah, that was me. Hey, everyone. Just wanted to get this before everyone, just so that maybe all the teams could go ahead and look at the work items and add an update and assign if there were any. So just wanted to get it under everyone's radar.
Yes, thank you. So if anybody's not aware, the previous 1.4 release cycle, a lot of these are just carried over from 1.4 that the previous team had mentioned and brought up. And so we carried them over, and I think we added a few documentation improvement updates from last time as well. So I think the idea is if people have time and can pick these up, we can cut an issue from it, keep it tracked here, at least for now, until we have a project set up or something, so we can track that. So if anybody wants to pick up an issue, let me know. We can open a new issue or something like that. So yes, Killian.
Just on the project, do you want to open a project? Because we can do that whenever, but I suppose if we're going to start handing out issues, it might be better to start off with the project, even if it means creating issues on the fly and not batch creating all of them.
I think as long as you all are okay with that, I think let's start small, spin up the project and start adding issues. And then we can also go in and backfill all this at a later date and then close this task out. Because I think a lot of these issues are probably going to carry forward, unfortunately. And so creating new issues and pulling these all over will be a pain as well. So. Yes.
Just wondering, adding to the thought of what Killian said, if we create a project and then assign issues, can we not carry that forward?
Yes, with the project, yes.
Okay.
With this single issue here, it's been a
Mhm.
pain, right? Like manually copying it
Yeah.
over. So Yuvraj had a great idea of let's do a release project, and then we can carry issues forward that need to be done. So that way things aren't lost in between team handovers.
Yeah, I think that will be great, in my opinion.
Cool. Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. Awesome. Anything anybody else has? I think we've got about 7 minutes left before we gotta go to the office hours. Is there anything else?
Yeah, I have one more thing. Did we update the list for the CI team, which gets the alerts? I just got remember that.
No.
And in the previous release cycle, we did that so that whenever CI fails more than 4 or 5 times, if I'm not mistaken, the people who are in the CI team can get the alerts on their inbox. And there was a list that I updated. I can find that out and put it in the chat if someone wants to take care of that.
That'd be awesome. Just
Is it under the CI leads tasks?
I'm not sure.
Wherever it is, we should just make sure it's correctly reflected in the docs. I'm not sure if I missed it.
Yeah, most probably missed it. I don't remember.
yeah, I think we have update Slack user group, but I don't think we had anything else.
Could you look for the alert maybe? Yeah, here.
Yeah,
number
so
one.
it's we need to clear it up that maybe the team should be added to it. But yeah, I'll take care of that. I'll ask in the channel, but I'll ask if everybody wants to be added to it. Everybody's on the CI team. Thanks for reminding me about that.
You're welcome. No problem.
Awesome. There's a count me in. Okay. Cool. Unless there's anything else, I'll give you 5 minutes before the next office hours meeting. Awesome.
Maybe one thing. Did you raise a labels PR with the label changes?
I have not. Thank you. We can.
I can take that up.
I was going to say, do you mind taking that up as the new comms lead? I'll hand that over to you as a
Yeah, sure, Joe.
ball drop handover. I'll hand that over to you.
Cool. We can take that up.
Awesome. Yeah, feel free to hit me up for any questions on any, but I think that Google Doc, I can clean that up or whatever and reshare that with you. But I think we've got our list that we talked about last week in office hours. So I think we can go ahead and move forward with that. Awesome.
So,
All right.
Thank you,
Thanks,
bye.
everyone.